Hey everyone, it's Prithvi Yoga, and I'm here in this my review for Retro, the new film directed by Karthik Subbaraj, and starring Surya and Pooja Hegde in the lead roles. Now, it's going to be very hard for me to do this review without talking about some spoilers within the film, so I'm going to give you the score right away. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. It could have been a perfect film for me, but the thing is, the first half of the movie is a little bit tonally all over the place, not in a horrible way. I just felt like there was a lot going on. But it was still a very entertaining, very colorful, and very fun first half. The second half of the movie is a little bit focused tonally and plot-wise, and I felt like that's what really worked for me. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that the second half didn't really work for them, or it's the weakest part of this movie. In my personal opinion, I still feel like this overall production is very solid. One of Karthik Subbaraj's best films, and probably one of his most adventurous and most entertaining films in terms of what he's trying to say. And there's a lot that he's trying to say within this movie. So if I give you an encapsulated review of this movie, it's pretty much, this is Karthik Subbaraj's love letter to the films that he's grown up watching. Bruce Lee movies, Spartacus, Gladiator, Matrix, Maniratnam films, the films of the 70s, 80s, and early 90s in terms of the retro masala, commercialized films that he probably grew up watching. This is his version of those movies done in a present day technicality sense of, storytelling and camera work, editing, so on and so forth. So yeah, Retro is a very solid movie. It is a very solid action, romance, thriller, comedy, drama. It's a mixture of everything. And definitely Surya's best theatrical release since 2020. I still feel like Jai Bhim and Suryadev Potra are his best films in the last 5 years, but Retro, in comparison to the lead actor roles that he's had in theatrical releases since 2020, this is definitely his best. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me, and if you don't want to know anything about this movie, stop this review right now because there's going to be spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. Now, right off the bat, one of the biggest MVPs of this movie is Shreyas Krishna, who is the cinematographer for this film. There is some very beautiful, very colorful, and very distinct and very in-depth visuals within this movie. Karthik Subbaraj is very well known for that. His films are very visually stunning and very tantalizing in terms of, as a viewer watching his movies, they're never boring in terms of a visual representation of what he's trying to tell within his stories. And Shreyas Krishna has been a trusted individual in Karthik Subbaraj's camp in terms of his recent films of date. And I feel like, again, he's a talented cinematographer. And some of the visuals in this movie, especially a scene, which I'll talk about a little bit later, involving an ocean and Surya coming out of the water, that scene is beautifully shot for a nighttime scene. And I thought that was one of the best shot scenes in this film. Again, very colorful, very distinct, very, superbly done in terms of the visual palette that Shreyas Krishna has shown on screen here. And again, one of the biggest MVPs of this film. Now, when it comes to the story of Retro, there's a lot of things going on here. And again, Karthik Subbaraj has done a really good job in his filmography, especially in recent times, of doing almost 2 films in one, with the first half of his movies being in a certain way, and then the second half of the movie being in a certain way. Here, the first half of this movie is pretty much going in the direction of a traditional, gangster thriller where a person wants to get away from his past of being a gangster. He finds love and wants to move on with his life, but unfortunately, the violence and the kind of turmoil that he was put through in the gangster world keeps on coming back into his life, and it's putting a strain on the relationship that he has, and pretty much puts a strain on his personal life, delaying the happiness and delaying the purpose that he has in life till later. Now again, Retro borrows a lot of commercial elements from other films from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even till now in terms of, those gangster stories. I think that Karthik Subbaraj does a very good job of, bringing some originality to that kind of storyline with his kind of trademark, treatment in terms of storytelling and in terms of visual, setting, in terms of the palette, in terms of symbolism and, stuff that he's showing you on screen. And again, the second half of this movie goes into his trademark socio-political commentary that he's done in recent films in his filmography. I'm not going to tell you what the socio-political commentary is, because once you've seen the film, you will know very evidently so what the sociopolitical commentary is about. And I really appreciated it. I think that he did a really good job of not overtly talking about certain things that are happening around the world, but I really appreciated the way he did it here in an almost Quentin Tarantino manner in terms of mixing in fiction with nonfiction. And again, the Destiny kind of storyline here is pretty much of Lord Krishna, which I really appreciated. Before I dive deep into this film's, purpose and what it's trying to tell you, I will say, again, Surya is excellent here. This is a very diverse role for him. Again, on the surface level, it seems like another gangster role where he gets to show his dramatic chops, but there's a lot of comedic sequences here. There's a lot of romantic sequences here. There's a lot of, goofy nature towards his character at certain moments, which I was very surprised by. Again, it is very easy to kind of glance over this movie and be like, oh, it's another run-of-the-mill kind of character for him to do, but there is a lot of depth here. And again, he gets to show his dramatic chops at the second half of the film, but it's the first half which really surprised me, not just with his performance, but even the tone of the film as well. There's some, wacky, haywire kind of nature toward this movie, and the energy is kind of all over the place. And that was what really threw me off. But then as we got to the interval, it really started settling in and really got to a point where I was like, okay, like I see where they're going with this film. Again, great performance from him. Pooja Hegde was really good here too. I think this is probably her best dramatic performance in her Tamil cinema career till this date. And everyone else in this movie, Jairam, Jojo George, Nasser, the list goes on and on. Everyone does a splendid job with the characters that they're portraying on screen. Santosh Narayanan's score is very epic here, very, very flavorful, very, characteristic in terms of like what he's trying to portray on screen alongside Karthik Subbaraj. He seems to always save the best for him in terms of his musical capabilities, and he has a small cameo here, so that was really cool to see too. And again, this film is a technical marvel. That one-shot sequence with the Kanima song and the fight, and also the stuff that was leading up to the Kanima song at the wedding, epic. Excellent staging, excellent cinematography, excellent acting. Just everything was just epic in that one-shot sequence. Now let's get into the themes and the motifs that this film is talking about. Now, like I said before, there's a lot of things happening in this movie. It's a gangster film, it's an action film, it's a comedy film, it's a thriller, it's a drama. It's a Mortal Kombat / Bruce Lee movie. It's a film about a person's journey and their purpose in life and the meaning of everything that culminates from birth till now, and how everything that was written in the stars is fulfilled when you finally find your purpose. Karthik Subbaraj's treatment of the story is very brilliant and very powerful. And again, it's Lord Krishna's story remixed, and it felt like Surya's character is just purposely trying to find meaning in his life through various different means. It's kind of like how Karthik Subbaraj went about his story in Mahan, where Vikram's character and everyone in that film has a different destiny, even though they're all following the same virtues in life. His family wants to go through the Gandhian values of life, and even though Vikram follows those virtues, he evidently goes in the other direction, still finds success, and ends up being a different person. Here, Surya's character feels like violence and war is the answer because that's the only way that he can find love from his adopted father in Jojo George when he's younger. He thinks that is his purpose. When he finds Pooja Hegde's love, he thinks that's his purpose. But then finally, in that scene that I was talking about earlier, when he comes out of the water after getting beaten up by the people that he beaten up in the Mortal Kombat games, when they see the birthmark on his body, it's almost like a baptism of his character. That is the scene where he finally finds out and finally realizes that, okay, he comes out of the water, almost like from holy water, and finally finds purpose in the respective life that he has, and he finally frees the people that he was destined to free, almost in kind of like a Jigardanda Double X kind of manner. And again, when he smiles and when he finally smiles after being told that he can't smile at all since birth, that is a powerful scene. And also the scene where the oppressed finally laugh at the people and show that they're able to smile and laugh in the faces of the oppressors. Powerful scene. Might be a little bit in your face in terms of the messaging, but I felt like that was a powerful and very beautiful scene. Again, really good movie. A lot to talk about. I wish I could do more than 10 minutes for a review, but yeah, very good movie. It might be a little bit all over the place for some people, but again, laughter is perfect medicine for people. So please laugh, please love, and please fight for the things that you laugh and love for.